Good evening, everybody. This is your host, Kwame Sarfo-Mensah, and we are back with a brand new episode of IDTALK4ED Live, the show for the unsung heroes of education. And tonight's show is a special one because I have a good friend of mine who's going to be joining us, Mr. Tim Young, aka McGriff, founder of McGriff Films. He is an independent filmmaker, a phenomenal basketball player. Matter of fact, he is the second all-time leading scorer in the history of Newbury College here in Massachusetts. He is also a mentor for the youth and a youth basketball coach. So he's going to come here today to just share with us about McGriff Films, some of the projects he's doing under his company, and all the other community work that he's doing. So without further ado, I want to bring in my good friend, Mr. Tim Young, aka McGriff.
Hey man, how you doing? How you doing?
What's going on, sir? How you feeling?
I've been great, man. I've been great. How you doing?
Been doing great. And I know a lot has happened since we last spoke. So I know that you're engaged now. So I want to say congrats on that, brother.
Thank you.
You know, that's a huge step, man. Marriage is a beautiful thing, and you'll find that out. But let's get right into the conversation. So the first question that I always ask my guests is, just tell us a little bit about yourself and what brought you into the education field.
Well, I'm from Brockton, Mass. I'm heavy into a religious background, my parents and everything, and I just grew up in Brockton, played sports, just average kid. Going to the education field, actually, it's kind of stumbled upon me, One of my good friends, Carlito Weaver, he was actually working at a middle school out in Brockton, and I thought it was like, dude, you're working at the school? How did you get that? And he said, hook me up. I didn't believe him, and he actually did. And from there, I kind of say he changed my life, and I just love the field now, and I'm spending time with the kids and just trying to be a mentor and doing anything I can to, be that guy for them or that mentor,
No, I hear you with that. So I know that you grew up in Brockton, and just through all the projects that you do, you let people know that you're from Brockton. So why don't you just tell us a little bit about Brockton and what was it like to grow up, in Brockton? For those who didn't grow up there,
Brockton is I would like to call it like a city of jewels, man. Like there's a lot of great, talented individuals in Brockton, great people. Brockton is a small town outside of Boston, and a lot of people think of Brockton like it's the slums or something, but it's a great place to live. Great people here, great businesses. I can't complain about Brockton, Of course, we have our faults, we have our flaws and stuff like every city does, but this is where I call home,
No, I hear you on that. But I do want to talk about just your love for filmmaking. Now, for those who don't know, Tim and I used to work together in Boston Public Schools for a couple of years. And just one day out the blue, he comes to my room with the small camera, like a tripod, and it looked really professional too. Cause all this time I'm thinking, Tim, he's a basketball player. Cause I see him on the courts, crossing people over, doing all these things, and I'm like, oh, you actually make films too? I said, all right, I didn't even know. And I was honored to be one of the guests on the first season of Rockin Wit McGriff, which is your hit show under your company, McGriff Films. So I want you to just talk to us about what inspired you to start McGriff Films and what are some of the current projects you're working on through your company?
The inspiration behind McGriff Films, the name is a whole different story, but my whole love for film started in college. My junior year, I took a photography class, and I fell in love with photography. And I was just, I was in the dark room. I was doing all that stuff. And then eventually, my senior year, for my senior project, the teacher had a bunch of lists of like everything you could do for a senior project. And the hardest thing on the list was make. and being a challenging guy, being a guy that can do anything. I was like, let me make a film. I had no idea what to do, how to do it. And I just fell in love with the process. My first film I made was Nitra. It was about a story of a female in Brockton who died in a car accident. And, you know, that really inspired me. The trailer is still on YouTube right now. And that really inspired me to like keep telling stories. So eventually I started telling my own stories. And from Matthew telling my own story, I tell other stories. And I just really want to be a voice for the people, you know, not just only the Black people, my people, but everybody, you know.
I hear you. And Nitra was based on a true story?
That was based on a true story, yes.
All right. Okay. Now with filmmaking, and I've interviewed a few filmmakers in the past on the show, and I know it's a lot of work. So when you make your films and you produce these projects, like how much time does it take for you to go through that process of putting it all together? Just walk us through that process of filmmaking and producing these projects, because I know when you did my episode for the first season on Rockin Wit McGriff, it took some weeks to get it all together, get the sound together, the frames and the transitions. So just walk us through that, because I just find it very fascinating.
Well, as far as the transition or how to, you know, get the whole film together, it's very difficult. It starts from the idea, of course, and then you get your little team together and you might write something up, and then from there you scout locations, and then after you find your locations, you get your actors together, you rehearse. You got to have some nice equipment, of course. You record it, but the process is very tedious. As far as recording and editing, especially the editing portion, that takes at least hours and hours and hours of your time. As far as, you know, recording, that's simple. That's simple stuff. But looking for a simple project, you're looking at a lot of hours. As far as from editing to recording, a lot of hours. But it's worth it. It's worth it. I would say the hardest thing would probably be writing the story, really getting the idea out, especially if you really want to be professional and tell a great story. Getting the idea out is really tough. You know, getting it together with like-minded people really help. Other than that, you know, of course, a lot of detailed things within the edits and you know, shooting and sound, you know, thinking ahead of what you want it to sound like, and, you know, where you want the lights to set up, you know, things like that. You always got to keep in mind as a filmmaker, you know, but it's a very rewarding job. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. And I'm not a real filmmaker. You know, I have an app that pretty much simulates a lot of things that you do manually. But even with the editing process, when I edit these episodes, just the editing is the part that I dread. I'm not even gonna lie.
Tedious.
Because you want to just show respect to the guests that come on the show. You don't want them to sound like they're crazy and they don't know what they're talking about. So you try to represent them in the best way possible through the editing.
Exactly.
And that could take hours and hours, and trying to take out every single detail and nitpicking here, nitpicking there. It just gets tiring. It's a mental exercise in more ways than one.
Mentally draining. You spend a lot of long hours. I mean, last night I was up till 5 a.m., you know, doing the podcast, you know, so I spent a lot of hours editing. And, you know, at the end of the day, I just love, you know, pulling out quality work, you know, just like in Rockin Wit McGriff. I followed you in the classroom a little bit. We did an interview, and then we also did a performance piece, and we put it all together in a, you know, in a nice way, a way that everybody kind of, you know, shows me a lot of respect and shows me a lot of love of how it's put together, you know. But that came on accident as well, you know. I was just recording my first episode with an artist named C4, and he said, "I'm gonna play your song," and I pressed record, and I just didn't stop pressing record, and I just got everything that day, and I was like, I have so much footage. What am I gonna do? And I just put it all together. You know, I just cut my words out and just put the extra pieces in, and it just flowed right. And from there, I just took the formula and I went on.
Yeah, but it's going on to do big things. I mean, season 1 was big. Now I think you can get the whole season 1 on Amazon.
That's going on really. Yes.
Yes, you can get that on Amazon. So I'm putting that plug in there. If you want to get the whole season one of Rockin Wit McGriff, go on Amazon and buy that for your viewing pleasure. You
And by the way,
will
I want to
really
thank you for doing that episode with me, man. Because I didn't really know you at the time. I mean, I just started working at the school at the time, and you had this amazing book, and I was like, man, I'm doing something that highlights entrepreneurs. I'm doing something that I want to share to the world of these individuals that are doing great things in their respective neighborhoods or wherever they live, and that's what Rockin McGriff was about. And I seen you and I asked you said yes, and that was one of my favorite episodes because I feel like we gave back to the youth. We told them, we taught them a message, and we tried to, give them a message of thinking bigger, and your story is amazing. And I just want to thank you for joining my show. Thank you.
no, but man, I want to thank you for even taking the time to interview me and to spend those couple of days in my class getting footage of me in action with the kids. That episode is about to hit. I think it might have hit 1,000 views on
Yeah,
YouTube.
it's like
The last time I checked, it was like over 800 views. So
it's about
it's a
8 months
very
ago. It's a pretty good time, I guess.
yeah. It's been nah, but it's been it's an episode that personally is one of my favorites because it pretty much encapsulates my story
Hmm.
in a 20-minute time frame. You pretty
Yeah,
much I'm pretty much walking you through my whole story, my upbringing, my childhood, and what brought me into the field as a teacher. And then for that to even appear on the PBS news piece that I did, for you to have that credit on there, I mean, that was something that I knew I needed to do because
thank you.
in order in order for creatives, especially black creatives, to get the spotlight and to get the shine, we gotta put each other in positions where people can see our greatness and the work that we do. And I just felt like it was an opportunity for me to do that, but also try to do that for everybody
Yeah,
who I come across, even if I don't know them personally. If I think that the work is dope and I feel like it's something that's impacting somebody, I want to put them out there because we
yeah,
don't do that enough as a community, if we're
right,
gonna be honest.
right.
Yeah.
And that's kind of
But
why I started the Rockin McGriff thing, to just bring those brands, to bring awareness to those brands. A lot of individuals that was out there that, I was free of charge, and I just pretty much just try to bring exposure to these individual brands. Well, whether they're a rapper, whether they're a basketball coach, whether they're a teacher that's selling a book, whether they are a studio guy, it really didn't matter to me. I interviewed Dana Barris, I interviewed whoever, I just love telling their story. And of course, I do it off the love because, each one teach one.
but I will say this, just watching the series and the episodes that I've seen, I've learned a lot about Brockton just through watching it. And I think that was an intentional move on your part
Yeah.
because you want people to get a glimpse of the gold that's in Brockton and
Yes.
the people who make Brockton what it is, the
Yes.
heroes and the people who are making an impact in the town. Because I mean, if you ask anybody, you tell them Brockton, Massachusetts, they don't know where that is. Like unless you are in the greater Boston area, like I am. Like I know Brockton because I live here now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But for most people, they'll be like, "Oh," but just watching your show, you really get to learn about the full spectrum of heroes. Like I
Yes.
saw the one with the chef. I think it
Yes.
was a sister
V's
who was
cooking.
a chef, a
V's
cook, right?
cooking. He's amazing. V's cooking is amazing.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
And then also Newbie, the filmmaker, who you
Yes.
say is
Newbie,
a
my guy, man. He's a
huge
great guy.
huge
Yes.
mentor to you. So why don't you talk to
Yes.
us about Newbie and what he's meant to you as a mentor and a filmmaker himself?
Funny story about Newbie. This was like maybe, I don't know, a little while ago, and I was really hurting, man. And Newbie hit me up one day randomly. He was like, "Hey Tim, what's your Cash App?" I'm like, "Hey, I just sent him my Cash App," and he was like, "Hey, I just feel like sending $100 to black filmmakers." And I was just like, "Man, this guy is great. Like, he's just a great guy, great mentor. He taught me so much. He used to call the games at my Brockton High basketball games,
Wow.
and he'd be animated like, oh, the young gunslinger or whatever. He was a great guy, man. And he started his film company, and he's doing documentaries about, different subjects of the inner cities. He got this documentary called Step Up and Protect, Serve, and Care. They're all focused on inner city issues within the Black community and well, any community, He won an Emmy, and listen, he's one of my big bros. Much respect to Newbie. Much respect to Newbie.
Yeah, I was gonna say that he did win an Emmy for the second documentary, Protect Serve.
Yes.
Yeah, and I know that, but you wouldn't know that if you didn't watch the documentary. Like, who would have thought? Wow,
Right.
he's from Brockton,
Right.
someone who I can look up to,
Right.
and he's on the big stage.
Mm-hmm.
Getting
And there's a lot of great individuals like Ollie Spears, Kevin Walsh, great boxer from Brockton. Crew from the North. He's one of the best producers out here. Jeff Staley's a good rapper. C4, my first guest, which I think at first a lot of people told me no, because at first, of course, I was a company just starting and they didn't really know my work. C4 gradually said yes, and he's one of the greatest rappers out here too. I have a lot of great guests on there. Lavish Cloth, a clothing company that's in Brockton that's striving, that's doing really well. A lot of great guests. Yeah.
Right. And you've had a lot of people. I think there was one episode where you had, if I'm not mistaken, your former high school basketball coach, right?
Bob Bowen, legendary coach.
Yes. Yeah.
Legendary coach.
So,
and I got a food truck on there, Gonzalez food truck. Amazing food out in Taunton. I have a beer company, Crew Brew, on my second season. I have a lot of individuals. I have Dana Barrows, of course.
NBA. Dana Barrows, the legendary.
Yes, I have Dana Barrows.
Nice.
On my second season as well. It's not out yet. It's gonna come out really soon.
Ooh, I gotta watch that one.
Oh yes.
I love watching him ball. Back in the day when I was a kid, when he was during his Philly years. I think when he made an All-Star team.
Wow.
Yeah, I was.
Told me a lot of stories.
Yeah, he was a problem on the court. Yeah. He was a problem.
Yeah, from Boston too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of great players from Boston. But man, so just talk to me about just the state of like just Black creatives, because I feel like there's a huge network, not just out in Hollywood, but just all throughout. Like there's so many people who are in the arts. They're either doing graphic design, they're either making films and producing podcasts like you are, and yet we can't seem to get them out in the forefront for other people to see. So I want to know from you, when you look at McGriff Films, where do you see McGriff Films, 10 years from now? Where do you see McGriff Films? What's your vision?
Me personally, even as a Black director, producer, whatever, I'm always willing to work with whoever, wherever, That's right. I believe you cannot do this type of job alone, especially filming. You're going to need someone to hold the lights. You need someone to do the sound. You need someone to do this. So I definitely am always willing to reach out to anybody. But in 10 years, I definitely want to see myself at least in the movie theater. There's a couple movies out. I want to be able to sustain a lifestyle from, doing film or photography or whatever. And I definitely want to just tell at least 5 movies, tell at least 5 stories, and at least maybe win some type of award, an Emmy, a regional Emmy, an Oscar, anything, So that's my plans. I just plan to just work hard, just really just strive to be the best that I could be, and just stay focused,
So let's use our imagination.
Right.
You're directing a film.
Mm-hmm.
Now we don't know what the film is, and there's a particular actor, actress that you would love to direct. If you could make a choice, and I'll give you 3. I'll let you pick 3 people. Who would those 3 people be to be able to direct in your film?
I'll tell you what, the first person, when I first started writing my own scripts, the first person that I really seen that I really wanted on my movie was Michael B. Jordan. But at the time when I seen him, he was Wallace on The Wire, you know, and I just love this character. But obviously he's older now and he's a big time star. But other than that, I really want this guy named Brandon Scales. Brandon Scales is a very, very good actor from Brockton as well. And he's doing movies with Mark Wahlberg, and he's doing side roles with Denzel. He's doing great things. And I would love to work with that guy. He's showed me a lot of versatility throughout his career. And that's the guy I have my eye on right now, you know? Absolutely.
Wow. And I didn't know he was from Brockton.
Yes, he is.
Wow. So much talent, man. So much talent.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this. And let's switch gears, because not only are you a filmmaker, but you are also a basketball player. You play at a collegiate level. Even we're playing, you know, up at the league, man, you still were giving people the business. So
try to tell them kids I still do my thing.
So let's talk about basketball for a second. So I know outside of filmmaking, you're also a youth basketball coach. So do you coach kids at the AAU level for like elementary?
Well, outside of my job as being a teacher and of course filming, I coach AAU, my 4th and 5th grade team. It started with, I believe, 3rd and 4th grade, and I just moved up every year with these guys.
Yeah.
I've also coached, you know, high school. I've coached college basketball. I've coached prep school basketball. I've coached female college basketball. I coached female high school basketball. I've coached middle school basketball. You know, I just love being around the sport, and I love teaching the youth, you know, fundamental basketball, you know, not just the and one stuff, just really good basketball. And that's
I know. I've seen you in action, bro.
Yeah. So I really just try to give back as much as possible. Even the first job I got out of college, Hill House, I was just mentoring and teaching kids, or young kids, you know, kids maybe like under 11 years old. I was teaching a bunch of like 3-year-olds basketball, you know, teaching them how to dribble, you know, famous kids, you know, I'm talking about Celtics children and Bruins children. And I even taught John Kerry's grandson how to play soccer, you know, so.
Oh, wow.
I've been really into the field of teaching and mentoring of these kids and the sports and the youth, you know. It's really what it means.
So with basketball, we know that everything's been shut down, all sports pretty much. But now there's been talk about the NBA start back up again in late July, with 22 teams who are in playoff contention. But then you have the unrest that's taking place in our communities with police brutality and the cumulative loss of Black lives. So I know you're an avid basketball fan, just as I am. Love basketball. But tell me this. Given what's going on in our country, do you believe that NBA players should sit out for the season and make a statement about what's going on, or they should just go ahead and just resume the season and maybe make a statement and still play at the same time? So what's your take on the NBA situation and what the players should do? What do you think?
I'll be honest with you, man. And I would like to ask you a couple questions about this as well, but I'll be honest with you. I really don't know. I'm on the side of, I'm really on no side, to be honest. It's like,
yeah,
if you play, you're going to say you're going to use your platform to do whatever you want. Okay, if we play, we have money to, promote the struggle, whatever it is, whatever. But before in the past, I've never seen an NBA dollar in my neighborhood of Brockton or Boston. Of course, they made some buildings, whatever, but they donate so much money to Black cause, but I don't ever see it around me. So I don't believe you're going to do anything if you play, but I also don't believe you're going to do anything if you don't play, because I've seen a couple of NBA players out there, but I also seen LeBron James riding his bike. So I don't even do anything if you don't play. So And then again, it's like, all right, you're not gonna play this season, and maybe you'll start the season up in December. So it's like you're not gonna play for 3 months, and then you're gonna play in December. Like, are you not gonna play ever? And then it's like this struggle been happening, and why haven't you stopped playing years ago?
Good point.
You could have stopped playing a long time ago. And it's like, and honestly, and my last point about this is like, I understand celebrity power. I understand, that they have to be vocal sometimes, which is great. But I really feel the people did a great work.
Yeah.
I really feel the people, the citizens did great work. And I don't feel that we always have to cling to some celebrity to save the day when we literally put the work in ourselves and got the job done with our feet marching the streets. So I don't care what you do, regardless. The people that matter, the people that's fighting for real change, we're gonna keep fighting.
That's right.
I also respect the gesture. You're gonna, give away millions of dollars and lose so much money on just not playing. I understand. I respect the thought, but I honestly don't think it comes from a place. And honestly, I think you could have been did this type of stuff. If it was really hurting you, you could have been shut stuff down. But I appreciate the thought. But honestly, I don't know what they should do, and I really don't. It doesn't really matter to me, to be honest.
No, man, I appreciate that. And you mentioned something there because I was watching the Dave Chappelle special. I don't know if you got a chance to see it. His 846 special, yeah. Where he talks about George Floyd and all the other killings.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to give it away, but basically there's a part where he's criticizing like the news media for saying that, Black Hollywood should speak up and do whatever, right? But Chappelle's response was, well, why do I need to say anything when the people are out in the streets marching and doing everything? So I'm going to continue to shut up. I'm going to continue to be quiet and sit in the back seat. So I'm paraphrasing. He said some other things that I can't say on this show, but just to paraphrase, he's like, why I have to say anything when the people are already doing the work? They don't need me out there. I will kindly sit in the back seat and let them do their thing. If they need me, I don't mind sitting in the passenger seat or even taking the wheel if they need me to.
Right.
And I think
some.
Yeah.
Right. What would it mean more, or what would really hit the owners more if you say we're not playing this season or we're not playing ever? Because I could live with, as the owner, I could live with, hey, sit out 3 months, cool, but never playing again, that really hurts. So that thought right there, it's like, where do you really want to hit them? Do you really want to hit them? You could have really did that long time ago. Even now, tell them we're not playing, not just this season. We are never playing, So things like that is what they really got to think about, not just really attaching themselves to the moment. Because Kyrie and a lot of these players had bad names in NBA or even in the public. Even in Boston, Kyrie had bad names in the locker room. So maybe he was using this to get people to, get on his side a little bit, maybe. I don't know what he was doing. But to my knowledge, a couple weeks ago, he was one of the players who signed on to continue the NBA season. So I don't understand why now he's doing all this, But I understand, I love and I respect it too. So, but,
I don't know. I think people are looking at this the same way they looked at the situation with the Clippers with Donald Sterling, where they're telling the players, "Oh, you should just sit out. Why you guys playing? You should just sit out." And the players made a statement. I mean, they did. They made a statement and they made their point. They, made their point and got across. And it was very loud and clear. Donald Sterling ends up leaving. Players keep on playing. Everybody wins. I think a similar situation will take place with this. And we know which people are doing the work. I mean, Jaylen Brown drove all the way from here to Georgia to walk with the people in his hometown when things were going down in Atlanta. Yep. So you got some NBA players who are doing the work, who are in the trenches and doing what they can with their platform to support the people who are in the streets, making noise, causing disruption, and really making that point clear to politicians and elected officials about what needs to change in our communities. So
Right.
I'm with you. I don't know what move needs to be made, but I feel like whatever move is made, something needs to be said about what's going on. And I do believe that the players who I know are going to do it will do something about it. I just know they will. I believe that.
And I also want them to stop using like this donation of money to just get them out the conversation. Like Netflix donated a lot of money to Black organizations. I don't know where the money's going to. Is it going to laptops? Where is it going? You know, and it's just like now everybody loves Netflix, but like I don't know where the money's going. So I appreciate it. I understand that, but it's, you know, a lot of that's going on out here. A lot of that's going on. Even in NBA, a lot of that's going on, you know?
Yeah, it is. And I mean, what can you do? But at the end of the day, it's all about keeping the pressure on.
Right.
Keeping the pressure on. Even if they start the season in July, like they said they are going to, I'm almost certain that the players, whether it's the Players Association, where I think Chris Paul's the president still, and you know Chris Paul's gonna say something. Matter of fact, Chris Paul is a board member for a nonprofit that is encouraging people to go out and vote in November. I can't remember the name of it.
We gotta get the name of that.
Board members.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
I think it's called When We All Vote. I believe that's what it's called. And they're actually coordinating with the Roots. And the Roots, they do their picnic in Philadelphia every year. And it's online this year. But in order for you to be a part of the virtual concert, you have to register to vote. That's your ticket to get in.
And the Roots picnics be really good, man.
Oh, man, I mean, I went to college in Philly, so I was going to Roots picnics every June because it always happened around my birthday weekend, June 1st. And that's when the Roots picnics was on. Say it again.
You sing Questlove?
I have a picture of Questlove.
What?
Yeah, when I was in college, like years ago. I'm about to show you that off air. I'm not gonna put it out there because I was
the first time you said
young pick.
You said as an dressing Questlove, you know what I'm saying, hitting the drums. I like that.
No, I had no hair at that time. We're talking.
What?
I'm dating myself now. You have to understand. When I was in college, that's early 2000s, bro. Early 2000s. So it's been
a while ago.
That was about 15 years ago, man. 15 years ago. Yeah. So it's been a while. But I'll show you the pic off air, not right now, because I'm not trying to embarrass myself. But Tim, man, thank you for being on the show. Man, it's been great. And I just love the work you're doing. But before you go, you got to let people know how they can follow you. And while you're doing that, I'm going to share your YouTube channel so that people can check out all of your projects that you've been doing and what you've filmed. But
thank you.
But Tim, man, thank you for being on the show. Man, it's been great. And I love the work you're doing. But before you go, you got to let people know how they can follow you. And why. All right. Boom. McGriff Films right here.
This channel only had 399 subscribers. That's what's up. Hey, that's great. That's funny.
But here's the thing, though.
That's I know, footage.
Yeah,
great, right?
But those are people. But those that 399, those are the people who really, really rock with you.
Yeah, they rock.
That's how I look at it. I mean, we can't get caught up in the numbers. I know sometimes I do get caught up in the numbers, but at the end of the day, I don't want to have 1 million followers who don't really follow me and really know my work.
Right.
I'd rather have those 500 people who are going to be supporters, who are going to promote the work, share with their friends, and really do what they can to support me. So that's how I look at it. And, you know, it's not going to be about the numbers.
That I've got so far in my career with McGriff within this last year. When we started in 2019, I appreciate everything, every blessing that's came our way, you know? I don't take anything for granted.
All right, but oh, you just got a new follower. It's one up to 400. Boom.
That's cool.
Yeah, but look at all these are all Brockton folks, people. Look at this, y'all.
Individuals in Brockton that's doing amazing things. Education, basketball highlight tapes of individuals in Brockton. We have the coach. We have Lavish Cloth there. This is season 1 right here going down there. Luke Bars is an amazing rapper from the city. Nubs, great barber. Peasy, another great barber from Brockton. You got Mario. He's one of the greatest mentors that Brockton has. I look up to Mario. We all love Mario. We appreciate Mario. Thank you, Mario, for everything. Sound Lab is one of the dope little studios out here. Jeff Staley, one of the good rappers. His Level Up song, Change Your Life. Okay, how with that man right there. But that's my brother right there. He's a great rapper from Brockton as well, man. Great music out there. C4 Chase Banks, Coach Cooper. Wow. Yeah, a lot of great people out here. A lot of great individuals. And of course, season 2 is way up the top, and that's all newer individuals from Brockton. Like these amazing Kevin Walsh, Kwame Thompson. I went to college with this fellow, and he's actually playing overseas basketball.
Yeah.
And family guy, great guy. We have Olivia Lopes right there, Synergy. He does real estate. Chase Banks, good rapper. Gonzalez Food Truck, Newbie. Hum Beats is a nice producer as well. He's producing songs for Sue Surf, Millie's, a lot of industry cats out there. Witness Richness, he has a great platform on YouTube as well. I'm just plugging everybody. I just love all these guys, and they just really doing well in the community and just really just putting forth their best effort. So I just want to highlight them as well, you know.
No, and that's what we should be doing for each other, because we can't do this work by ourselves. We have to find ways to get our voices out there, and if we don't do enough of this, people will never know the great work people are doing. And that's one of the reasons why I decided to start this podcast, because I just noticed that there's so many educators, not even just the educators who are in the classroom, but the ones who are doing it in the community, who are empowering kids like yourself and so many others, but nobody knows what work they're doing. So we got to create these platforms for each other so we can lift each other up.
Right.
And that's what it's really about. But just let people know again how they can follow you on social media.
Well, they can follow me on Facebook, McGriff Films. They can also follow me on YouTube, McGriff Films. And on Instagram is McGriff_Films. And that's it. McGriff Films everywhere, you know? Simple.
All right. So you all be on the lookout for McGriff Films. Make sure you follow my brother Tim and his company. And I know in a couple of years, it's just going to blow up. It already is. I mean, there's so many great projects that are on the horizon, and I can't wait to see how they come about. But once again, sir, thank you so much for being on the show, and hopefully we can get you back on here soon when those new projects come out.
Yes. Maybe we can premiere something soon, too.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. All right, sir. Now you have a good night. So there you have it, folks. Another episode of IDTALK4ED live. And this was an incredible one. So while I still have you, I just want to let people know that if you want to be on this show, and we're always looking for folks to get on the show, you can email me at IDTALK4ED@gmail.com. And like I said to Tim and to you all, we're not just looking for teachers in the classroom. We want people who are doing the work in the communities. I don't care if you're a basketball coach. I don't care if you're a chef. I don't even care if you are a child advocate, a mentor, or even just a garbage man. Everybody plays a role in educating our kids. Education doesn't just happen in the classroom. It happens everywhere. So if you know some folks who would be great guests on the show, please email me at IDTALK4ED@gmail.com, and we'll try to get them on to share their story and to put the spotlight on them. And that's what we have for today. Make sure you tune in on Monday for a brand new episode of IDTALK4ED live. I'm your host, Kwame Sarfo-Mensah. So I wish everybody a good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are in the world. We're gonna do this again another time. Peace out, people.